Leaders of the People's Democratic Party made good their threat on Monday when they stormed the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to protest against the outcome of the February 25 presidential election won by the ruling All Progressives Congress. The electoral body had declared Asiwaju Bola Tinubu of APC as the winner of the election, having pulled a total vote of 8,794,726 to defeat his closest rival and the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, who scored 6,984,520 votes, while Peter Obi of the Labour Party pulled 6,101,533 votes. However, the main opposition party accused INEC of compromise and described 2023 as the worst election year Nigeria ever witnessed since the return of democracy in 1999. Speaking at the headquarters of INEC, Atiku Abubakar, the candidate of the PDP, said the protest would continue every day or every other day. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission National Commissioner and Chairman, Voter Education and Publicity, Festus Okoye, received the protest letter from the chairman of the PDP, Dr. Yocha Ayu. Other PDP leaders at the protest included former national chairman of the party, Prince Uche Secondus, Governor of Sokoto State, Honorable Aminu Tambuwal, former President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, Kola Ologbondiyan, Daniel Bwacha, and Senator Dino Melaye, amongst many others. Now, Honorable Angu Ongu, North Central Coordinator for Atiku Support Organization, also the convener of National Youth League for the Defense of Democracy, is my guest today on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. This is The Ultimate Choice, reaching you live from Alive Television. I am Olubenga George. After this break, Honorable Angu Ongu joins us for a conversation regarding the protest of the People's Democratic Party and what stands before the inauguration of the new administration. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Now, welcome back, everyone. In case you just joined us, this is The Ultimate Choice, reaching you from Alive Television. It is the special election program of Alive Television, bringing you all the frills and thrills of the electioneering period in Nigeria at this moment. And of course, just before I went on break, I told you that I have been joined by Honorable Angu Ongu, who is the North Central Zonal Coordinator for Atiku Support Organization and also the convener of National Youth League for the Defense of Democracy. It's good to have you join me today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being in your studios.
Thank you for being here. It's interesting. It's an interesting time that we are in. I know from your camp, the boys are not smiling. Everybody is not smiling, and we could see that on Monday when the presidential candidate of your party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, took to the streets alongside other leaders of the party to protest the February 25th election. Now, a lot of questions have been raised and a lot of allegations were made or are being made regarding the outcome of that election. But I'd like to begin this conversation by finding out, because a lot of people do say that right now, while the PDP is busy going up and about trying to challenge the victory of the All Progressives Congress in this election, this last election, that the Labour Party appear to have more people, as both of you, both the APC, both the PDP and of course Labour Party have also expressed their displeasure. But we see that your party is taking more action. Meanwhile, a lot of people believe it is the Labour Party that should be involved with this. Are you telling us for a certainty, following all that happened before the elections, that the PDP is way ahead of the APC, like you're claiming, and of course the Labour Party in the last presidential election?
Thank you very much, my brother and friend Benga. It's good to be in your studios today. It is indeed sad. It is indeed a moment of sober reflection. The nation is gloomy. The clouds are dark over Nigeria. That Nigerians with great enthusiasm went into the general elections to elect their leaders. Leaders that will bring them hope, leaders that will bring them prosperity. Leaders that will take them away from the years of locusts, from the years of sorrow that the APC government has brought upon Nigerians. Those hopes were dashed again by no other institution but that of the electoral institution of this country. It became glaring both to the deaf could hear, the blind could see, that they, I don't even want to call them independent again.
Okay, so
Went into that election, conducted the election with a preempted agenda. And that agenda was not to do the will of the Nigerian people, but to do the will of the ruling party in Nigeria. And it is quite shameful. That is why I said the nation is gloomy. That is why I see that even with a win, there are no celebrations anywhere. It's the first time, I think, in world history that a presidential election was conducted, a winner was selected, let me say selected now, and announced, as it were, and there are no celebrations anywhere. You live in the capital city yourself, and you agree with what I have said, that there were no celebrations for a number of days. Vehicles were off the street because of the gloominess.
Let me actually interrupt in your point at this point. You talk about celebration. I mean, just on a light note, just Saturday, and the APC had a victory party at the Unity Fountain.
I'm not talking about.
So I'm just trying to say that it was
ordinary
celebrated.
Nigerians, right? We are talking about seeing the Achaba man celebrating. We are not talking about a hired crowd.
Okay, interesting.
To go celebrate.
Let's talk about some of the key issues which your party is challenging in this election outcome. All right, so from one of the most popular, like you have actually alluded to, is the fact that INEC did not deliver the mandate of the people. And I guess that goes to speak to the collation of the results, which, according to the electoral law, says elections should be collated, elections should also be
my
uploaded.
brother and friend, I want to tell you that this is the biggest electoral haste in world history. I know that students of political history, we take time to study what has happened in Nigeria, on February 25. The biggest electoral haste took place in this country because the laws are there beautifully. An electoral law was signed, but it is confirmed that the APC as a party is not given to strengthening institutions, is not given to the rule of law. What they do is to destroy institutions. What they do is to bastardize Nigerians. If not, an electoral law was signed and guidelines properly set out for the conduct of elections. And what do we have? And one of those guidelines is to say elections results are transmitted from the polling unit to the bimodal
voter
accreditation system. And that was not done.
All right.
And INEC still accepted this result even when Nigerians were complaining, and it is still very glaring to all Nigerians to see that, look, now they are managing to upload those elections.
No, but I think
at times that people are sitting in some of the pictures we are seeing, people are sitting in the comfort of their homes and are taking pictures. They are even snapping trees. Sometimes even a human being's picture is uploaded to that space.
Honorable Ango, I quite understand your concerns, especially where,
because you see,
this election
I would like to say that.
Hold on. Where this election result is concerned, but you will also agree with me that history is always there for those who want to learn. So we had 2019, and in 2019, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar contested against the outgoing president right now, who was the incumbent at the time, President Muhammadu Buhari, in 2019. And I do remember that we had the same level of allegation, talking about, all of the words that you have used so far to describe the election process, where, at the end of the day, talking about uploading it on the server and not finding content on the server and all of that. And are you trying to say that there has been no significant improvement in our electoral process from 2019 to this time, hence the reason why we have this result?
There have been no significant improvement. We need incorruptible individuals to man our institutions, not individuals that are compromised. Because from Grapevine, they were asking, what was the chairman of INEC doing in Lagos on the eve of election? Why was he flown in the private jet of one of the presidential candidates? That's from Grapevine, like I said.
Absolutely, because I was going to say, I heard it just like you did, but
it's from
who will have
Grapevine.
expected that we'll see pictures?
And our people say there is no smoke without fire.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So, we are concerned, we are challenging the process. We are not saying that it must be His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. It's not about one man. It's about strengthening the institutions of this country for generations yet unborn. That is what we are talking about.
Could there be some kind of link, like some people have actually postulated, between the Labour Party and the PDP in where this case is concerned? Knowing fully well that in 2019, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was the candidate of the party, and Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party was his running mate. A lot of people have said, well, they are still the same. It's still the same company. They are still the same clothing. Especially when you remember that Mr. Peter Obi left the People's Democratic Party just a few days to the election, to the primary elections of your party. A lot of people have said, well, they're still the same thing, and there may be some sort of backdoor agreement with the party that whichever way it turns out, we will stand.
There are no
and we will
backdoors.
ensure that
His Excellency Atiku Abubakar has always said, look, I'm a pan-Nigerian. And if I come on board, his message to Nigerians on the eve of the election, the first 100 days of my being in office, I will restructure this country. I will form a government of national unity. So our campaign was run strictly on merit. We didn't run a campaign on tribal lines, on religious lines, how we saw other candidates doing. You get? We ran, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar ran his campaign based on principles and what he can offer Nigerians. He didn't say, hey, I'm a northerner. He didn't say, I'm a Muslim. He didn't say, I'm from this part of the country, I'm from that part of the country. He gave us his agenda, the Atiku plan. Now, this is what I want to do for Nigeria. This is what I want to do for Nigerians, unlike other candidates.
And that's where I was going. I was going to say, well, every other candidate also presented their agenda for Nigeria.
But some of them were saying, Emiloko, it's my turn. Some of them were saying, some of them were even about even sleeping in churches, right? making their candidature look like it is a Christian candidate. One even said, one of the vice presidential candidates said, you are not supporting me because I'm Kanuri. These people, some of those rhetorics are taking Nigerians backward. We should be talking about a country that is cosmopolitan in nature. People shouldn't begin to say, it is my turn. Because I'm Yoruba, because I'm a Christian, because I'm a Muslim. Beyond that, our rhetorics around our conversation, around us getting leadership, around us giving leadership opportunities, should be around competence. Should be around our abilities to bring about reformations that will impact the Nigerian people. How can our mothers my grandmother in the village, get access to good primary health care? How can we ride on better roads? How can we get better electricity?
Honorable Angu, I want to believe that these are problems, and these problems are perennial in nature. I mean, they have been inherited from administration to administration, and I quite agree that just like every other Nigerian will do, that we do need a change at this time. And that brings me to my next question in this conversation. A lot of people, when we saw the mass exodus of followership, in the build-up to the presidential election on the 25th of February, where we saw people go was in a particular direction. A lot of people, and I do remember, I've had conversations with members of your party who said, well, that is just social media followership. Discard it, look away from there. We had all of that conversation before the election. And to say that the result that we now had, where Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had 6.9 million votes, almost 7 million, and we still find that social media party, so to speak, at the level where they are, also 6 million, about 6,109,000. I think the gap is close. If it was social media, one would have thought, well, maybe the distance should be clear. I'm saying this because I want to know really what you are challenging in the result of this election. We have the APC, who, by normal happenstance, is an incumbent party. And we always know, apart from 2015, where President Jonathan of the PDP lost to an opposition party, ruling parties don't lose elections. It's common, even all over Africa. But we had it in 2015, and then maybe we might just have said we went back to that. But I want to ask, what exactly is the PDP challenging in this result, in this election? Yes, the Independent National Electoral Commission agreed to some of the challenges it had, which had to do with network, which had to do where they could not use the BVAS and IREV especially to upload some of the results in certain polling units. But we also know what the law says, that the discretion is for the Independent National Electoral Commission to decide how to do it, when to do it. I mean, it is all within the jurisdiction of their office.
I didn't know that, Benga, you have become the spokesperson for INEC. But it's surprising you are giving this analysis as if you have become Festus Okoye.
I'm not
but I would like to say that even at the discretion of INEC, pictures of mutilated from EC8 are all over social media, where they have changed figures, where INEC figures are not adding up. So what are we defending discretion? This is an electoral haste that has taken place. Just like armed robbers go to a bank, rob a people. Our people have been robbed of their mandate, their choices. And we are sitting down here to talk about INEC using their discretion to collect votes. We are talking about the process. We are not saying it must be someone, but let the process be credible.
Yeah, and
because that credibility also brings a stamp of authority on the leadership. That was why our principal, the candidate of the PDP, took to the street, which is one of his constitutional rights, to protest, to say, look, I'm not satisfied with this. This is my protest letter. And he said that is going to continue every other day. And I want to tell you, it's going to continue. And you watch his press conference. He said, look, I'm headed to the court. And if the court someone asked the question, what if the court does not answer? You say, I will appeal to the court of heaven. All right. Because it is very glaring to say that, look, you cannot be declared president in an election when you didn't have 25% in the FCT. Our legal juggernauts are all over the place contesting that and or all of that in the constitution. So what happened was an electoral haste. Why the rush? Because INEC just sat there to say, look, I'm the collating officer. It doesn't matter what happens on the field. It's none of our business. It's what comes into that room at the International Conference Center that will be announced.
Well, before you...
It is wrong.
Before you label me as the spokesperson for INEC, which definitely I'm not, I'm just, trying to get the facts that are available out there for all of us to look at. Your candidate and the party, of course, has gone to court right now. And one other thing that he said during the protest yesterday is that this protest is going to continue.
It's going to continue?
Maybe daily. He said every day or every other day. I was wondering if you could give us what that means. Is that definitely, before you answer me, okay, if there's going to be a protest every day or every other day, I'd like you to explain what that means, one. Then secondly, I'd like you to look at it. After this election, a lot of people have been saying, like the candidates of the Labour Party and other people that are disgruntled have been talking to their people to say, look, just relax. We have gone to court and we believe in the judicial process of this country.
Benga, before you even land, I would say you were in this country. You were in this nation.
I still am.
In the year 2011, when someone lost an election in this country, right? And what happened in the northern part of Nigeria, in Katsina, in Bauchi, in Kaduna particularly. But here is a gentleman to the core. His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. His rhetorics have been controlled. Everything he's doing is within the ambit of the constitution, of the law. It is constitutional for him to, though in court, is to see put pressure on the system to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's the concern. That's the concern right now.
It is not a concern.
When you have gone to court,
the concern should not be he putting pressure on the system to do the right.
No, but it is not. That is not the concern. That's not the complaint per se. It is that okay, there is a process.
But sir, do you say are there killings anywhere? Because this same person I'm talking about, Muhammadu Buhari, when he lost the election and he was interviewed, then we didn't have their channel. As at 2011, we didn't have their channels and many of them around. I watched him on NTA. He said, people were aggrieved. I quote him and unquote. And he cannot control the way they will react to their grievances. You can go and check. That was not leadership. Until he was forced to come to television. That was when he wept on television to ask his followers to calm down. But here is a man. Have we taken up arms to break anybody's property? We only took a walk to INEC to register our grievances.
Okay, just as we prepare to run off from this segment of the show, tell us, do you have absolute faith in the judicial process of this country? Is there any form of doubt?
We have absolute faith until the APC came on board, because it is in this same government we have seen members, security agents, storm houses of judges, pull down their doors to arrest them forcefully, intimidate judiciary officers. It is in the APC government we are seeing that. So the fact that we have faith in this country and even in our institutions, those that we've been given mandated to man some of these institutions cannot actually be trusted.
Okay, but let me take a quote now from one of the spokespersons to the APC Presidential Campaign Council. They said the PDP actually went into this election a defeated foe already. Why did they say that? That you had a divided house that was willing to give out your party at whatever cost, to the opposition, and that the results that we have after this election is as a result of the inability of the party to put its house in order and come out with a united front to have the victory that it so much seeks. What's your take on that?
I would like to say that the APC house was more divided than the PDP house, because every known leader, apart from the G5 governors, was with the PDP. Every known leader of the party was in-house, worked for the PDP, look at its emergence. Right. So if the APC is saying that, and that was why they became G3, and colluded with INEC to commit this electoral haste, it is quite unfortunate. And for them to push it back to the doorstep of the PDP, it is really, really shameful. The APC as a party should be ashamed what it wants to pass to the next generation. Because all over international media, Australians are saying we have elected a drug baron. 3 other foreign papers are saying, look, the biggest black African nation elected a drug lord to run the country. It is unfortunate, the rhetoric coming out of this country, when the PDP under President Olusegun Obasanjo did so much to launder the image of this country. And we were beginning to take our place, rightful place in the community of nations. What has the APC done? Buhari himself is a laughing stock. We saw skits online how lecturers are making mockery of our president. So it's unfortunate.
It is not uncommon with the Nigerian society. In 2014, we had President Goodluck Jonathan, who was of the PDP, who was also laughed at, who was embarrassed.
But not by foreign media.
All sorts of things about the president.
He was not made a caricature of in a lecture hall in a foreign university. It is unfortunate. That's not the kind of country or a kind of leader I'll be proud of. I'll be proud of to tell my kids in years to come. We should be building a country or a nation that when our president sits or stands to speak in the community of nations, he will be accorded due respect.
But you talked about foreign bodies and countries who
not foreign bodies, newspapers.
Foreign media that has spoken.
And even a senator in the United States of America said, look, the American government should not be very quick to congratulate.
And that's where I'm coming from, because you also have had presidents. You have the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom who have congratulated the president.
You see, some of those things are statutory. I want to say they are statutory. And for some of them, in order not to hit the system, in order not to, because I would like to speak maybe like how maybe a conspiracy theorists will think. Nigeria is one of their biggest markets, so they need a stable Nigeria so that they will continue to sell whatever they want to sell to Nigeria. So any other leader can congratulate any other president-elect. All right, because economically speaking, Nigeria is very viable for them. And they want the stability, they want the peace. They don't want anything that will scuttle the peace of the nation. Agreeable. And for them, it's statutory. It is statutory that when an institution, a president has been announced, it is statutory for the prime minister. He's the head of the Commonwealth. The Queen is, and I think the prime minister, I don't know how the structure is, but he also holds his position at the Commonwealth that Nigeria belongs to. So it's statutory for him to send that congratulatory message. But when Nigerians are saying that, look, the process is fraudulent.
All right.
And that process should be fixed. That is why we are in court. That is why we are also protesting on the streets of Nigeria. To put system on the process, on the institutions, so that we will build strong institutions. I would like to quote Barack Obama. Nigeria don't need strong men. Men that will say Milokon. What is the meaning of a Milokon? We need strong institutions, not strong men.
Well, I want to say that the concept of strongmen in Nigeria is, party-wide. It is not limited to a particular party or not. And that is something that we'll always have to tackle or deal with within our electoral system. But I wish there's more time to talk about all of these issues, but it's quite unfortunate that the time is no longer friendly with us. But I must say thank you so much for your time on the program today.
Thank you very much. And I want to tell Nigerians that we are going to challenge the process. We want to build strong institutions for generations yet unborn. It is not about the PDP. It is not about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. It's about Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, it is indeed about Nigeria. We should look forward to what will unify our country, to what will bring peace and prosperity to the great people of the greatest black nation in the world. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of The Ultimate Choice on Alive Television. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Oluminga George.